So, welcome to the latest interview from Minerva Growth, where we look to bring value to businesses around the globe on topics that will be useful to them right now, but also into the future. So, hi, good afternoon. Thanks for agreeing to take part in the live conversation today. Please introduce yourself and your business.
Hi, my name is Phil Hughes, and my business is a new mail merge tool for Outlook called Outflash.
So, go on then, tell us more.
So basically, I come across it on developing it. Is someone built something very similar for Gmail, and there's a sort of an inbuilt mail merge tool in Outlook anyway, where you can go.
Yes.
I want to use all these spreadsheets to compose a lot of emails and then send it out, but it kind of long-winded. So what I've built is basically a little tool that runs inside Outlook's new message screen that allows you to compose an email, put in placeholders, put the to address in, and you just click send using Outflash, and it will send, instead of sending one email to say the 10 recipients, it sends 10 emails, so a single one to each of the recipients. So it's just like a little bit of a marketing tool that email marketing that runs exactly in the new message screen in Outlook.
That sounds very cool. So, who are you aiming that at then?
So at the minute, I originally tried doing sort of freelancers and people like home workers trying to run their own business. But I'm also doing sort of like project managers who are trying to send out a lot of emails. Did a little bit of research, and I got actually chatting to a girl who was used to be a legal professional, and she just said it'd be perfect for legal professionals because the amount of emails they're trying to send out and things like that, they just really speed up their process of getting the emails out.
It's interesting. I haven't done a mail merge in years. I've probably
Yeah.
done one in 4 years, but it sounds like it could take over for like some of the like MailChimps and that kind of stuff. You could do it all from Outlook and make it much easier.
Yeah, because as well, we've built in one of the paid versions, so you can use it for free. From what you get is you can use the Microsoft's environment, but like say for me, if you've just got a personal email address, they limit you to 350 emails a day, so you might not max that out, but then there's no tracking. So for one of our paid plans, so you can use the Microsoft environment for free, still using our little add-in, but the paid version is you'll be able to do unlimited emails, and we offer email tracking in there as well. So you can even see if people are opening it and reading it from your Outlook.
So, what made you create this in the first place then? You said you've seen something similar for Gmail.
Yeah, so a lot of context is a while back I was involved in like an app startup with two friends, and it just went pear-shaped. So I was kind of like went down for about 6 months on downtime and other ideas I had, and not really started anything. I just listened to a podcast. There's a podcast called Indie Hackers, which is basically like me. So it's like software developers who want to try and transition to start their own thing. And they just heard an interview of a guy saying, "Oh, I've done it for Gmail. Here we go." And for me, I've worked as a Microsoft specialist for 12 and a half years now, probably a bit longer. So for me to be able to go into the Microsoft sort of ecosystem and do something similar was kind of like a good sidestep.
I like it. It's great. So, you just mentioned there you've been in Microsoft products for about 12 and a half years, maybe longer. What's your background?
So I worked for quite a while after finishing college for about 5 years. Didn't like it, and at the time I was doing like night school courses in computing. So then at the age of 23, I went to university, got a computer science degree, and then started working as a software developer in 2007. So I've been doing that since.
Okay. And so, question, my mind's going mad. Your question, how long did it take you to develop this?
I started in July last year,
Oh, okay.
and I had the first version out in October last year.
Okay, cool. I like that.
Pretty quick, pretty quick.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what is the impact that your business is having on clients?
Well, it's very slow at the minute. I've found a real struggle to try and get people to use it and find customers. And I think this is where my software background is a hindrance, that the sales and marketing skills and getting it out to people is a real challenge I've got in trying to find paying customers. But yeah, the feedback I had, I didn't go and build it straight away. I actually spoke to quite a few people who
Nice.
may be interested in it, and they've just said, yeah, I think there was one who's even a charity in Canada, and he just says, yeah, we are getting really frustrated trying to get these emails out every day because we're trying to update people. So just saving us a load of time would be amazing, and also the tracking. And I think they were struggling with the 350 email limit. So I think from the initial version, it's just like to try and save a lot of time for these customers and the people that have used the free version.
Cool. Okay, so what drives, motivates you?
An interesting one. So I think in probably about 2010, maybe 2011, I think it's a frustration I've always had, and I didn't realize it, but I just got fed up of working for someone else.
Yeah.
And I just didn't like the sort of the lack of freedom, the lack of ability to scale, you know, the just the things like that. There's the normal 9 to 5. And I think one of the things that came to head with me was I was going on a friend's stag do, then I was invited on a walking holiday, and I think I was invited to something else, and I couldn't do it for 2 reasons. They wouldn't let me have the time off, and I couldn't afford it. And I was just like, I got me fed up of not being able to do what I want, basically.
Yeah.
Do things on my terms. So kind of that took up sort of what I wanted to do. And I got involved with friends because at first I was like, I don't have any ideas. And I got involved with friends that had ideas, and that took up quite a big chunk of the time I've been doing this. So yeah, just like my own freedom, basically.
I completely agree with you, and that's part of the reason why for me as well. It's yeah, absolutely. You're in control of your own destiny yourself. You can choose what you're going to do and where, why, and when, which is very, very powerful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. So, how are you seeing the world right now? Obviously, pandemic. Whereabouts are you based?
I live and work in Stockport.
So it's quite a lot of COVID stuff going on there, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah, it was okay really after lockdown. It was fine.
Okay.
And then the lockdown Greater Manchester, and Stockport isn't technically Greater Manchester, but they kind of lumped it in. And then we got let out of that little bubble because there was hardly any rate in Stockport. And this week it's kind of climbing back up again in the area. So it's just, yeah, it's a bit of a strange one because as well, Greater Manchester is quite densely populated. So yeah, it's a bit of a strange one. But we were just trying to me and my wife just do our own risk assessment and just try and go out when we need to. Basically, still that's the way we're dealing with it.
I love so obviously I'm Birmingham based, well North Birmingham I'll say now because of course Birmingham's going into a further lockdown from tomorrow, and
Yeah.
everyone's now looking at their boundaries. And luckily, I'm not in the local authority area of Birmingham, so it doesn't apply to us. I mean,
Right.
it's going to apply, but everyone's looking at the oh, it doesn't apply to me, and I'm outside of it. It's quite interesting seeing how all these divisions suddenly happen. Oh, I'm not Birmingham either. All good fun. So you've obviously gone through quite a journey over the last 12 months. What's the best tip you'd give to someone who's thinking of starting out and doing the same, right now? What's the one learning you could give someone?
Test it.
Test it.
Find people first, because just to give a bit of context, like when I was like really frustrated in 2010, 2011, my friends from university come to me with this idea for like an online, like basically around football and gambling with your mates, basically, to do this like survivor thing where you'd all say that, well, I think this team wins and I think this team will win. And if you're right, you go through to the next week. So that was the premise behind it. And he had no idea how to do it. So I spent sort of 12 months, 18 months doing that. Never got anywhere with it. We didn't even get it live. And then I got involved in this app startup, which we did get live, which again was like around football and traveling football fans. And we basically didn't make any money. We ended up selling, the social media took off, and we sold that for like I think we got £3,000 each, but then that's another like 3-4 years of your life that you've dedicated for that amount of money. And for me, it took me 12 months to get the apps out, and then for nobody to use it and stuff. So for me, test, and just find people. So some examples. So the Outflash add-in, I went on Reddit, found people that was having the issue and reached out to them, built a one-page website really quickly that you could put your name and your email address in if you're interested. So did some Reddit ads, did some Facebook, I think I did Google ads on that one. And I ended up with a list of about 20, 25 people. And that kind of like, that gave me sort of a guesswork that if I can get this out really quickly, so July to October, I had the first version out, emailed them all, and people started installing it. Another context is in lockdown, I got chatting. So I had another app idea that I'm kind of republishing, but I switched that off because I've been through like a round of redundancy. So we need to clamp down on all the money and all these side hustles and me funding it myself. So right, switched that off, trying to save money on that one. Just got chatting to someone on Twitter and was like, what do you want to do? Like, what's your app idea? What's your idea that you could come up with, blah, blah, blah. And I come up with this fishing app because I love fishing. And I did the same again. I built a one-page website, drove traffic to it. And what I did this time is I put a pre-launch on Gumroad that you could just purchase and save £5 if you want it. So I thought this will be an even better test to prove that I've got some sort of something that people are willing to pay money for. And someone signed up and paid like £5 pre-launch early on in lockdown before I even started looking at building the mobile app. And for me, the frustration of doing so much for so long and still not having a business myself and getting where I want, you've got to try and reduce that risk and just really, really, really test what your idea is and see there's a valid market. And for me, I think it's got like, I think I have 10, 15 email addresses in a short space of time. I kind of go, yeah, that's worth trying.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very good advice. And I think it's something I didn't do properly with Minerva Growth as well. I think everyone, the first attempt doesn't do it properly. And, market research, testing, talk to people, confirm there's a market for what your ideas are before you start chucking everything into it and then follow up on it. But you're right. What I find very interesting with you is obviously you got your coding developer type head, but also you got a very sharp marketing mind as well. And it's quite a powerful combination between the two of you.
I wouldn't say I'm sharp marketing. This is the massive learning for me.
But doing a squeeze page and collecting email addresses behind the back end of it, which a lot of people who are in that type of coding and that development can't do it. So it makes you very unique. It's cool. So
yeah.
is there one particular project you're working on currently right now that's the most important to you, or something you got coming up in the future, or is it to further develop what you're working on now?
I think what I've done, I think another thing I'm guilty for as well, and I think this is another reason why developers don't really get that successful, is you're always trying to, you hear something or you see something, oh, I'll just go and do that, and you'll forget about your other projects. So for me, the main focus is the outflash adding. I managed to get a first paying customer for it in lockdown, which was amazing. So someone's actually more validation, more testing that people are willing to pay the monthly subscription for it. So for me, that's what I'm trying to focus on, is no more development work on it. And I've got to, like you said, try and sharpen the basic marketing skills I've got, try and build on that, get that into a fully formed product. And I think also another tip I'll give to people as well is work out how many customers you'd need from your product to quit your job. That's what I've got. So the pricing model, I've got, if I get 350 customers, I can quit my job. So for me now, I've got the first paying customer, I need 349 more. And I think that gives you a little bit more.
Absolutely. It's your incentive.
More focus, yes. So I think that's my main focus. The fishing app, I've submitted it to the app stores to this morning. I'm just waiting for approval. So I've got a fishing app out. So
tell us about the fishing app. What does the fishing app do?
So again, in lockdown, the chatting with this guy, I just was like, right, okay, what hobbies have I got? So to give a bit of context, I've come up with a fishing app idea and a guitar app idea because I like playing guitar. And I put them into Facebook groups and Reddit, and the fishing app got a lot of traction. And everybody that saw the guitar app was like, that is awful, what a stupid idea. So I was like, this is brilliant. Instead of me going building something like I used to do, I know that's not going to work. And I've got, like we said about the fishing app, but I was just like, right, what can I do for fishing? And I come up with like weather forecast, which isn't unique, but sunrise, sunset information, because I'm always trying to get there for sunrise. And carp anglers look at moon phases as well, what the moon's doing. When the moon's high and it's a full moon, carp are more susceptible
I'm shaking my head because it's a completely foreign language to me. To keep talking.
So yeah, so I had that, and also I just thought, what else can I do? So I go fishing on my own. It's quite hard to take a picture of yourself holding it. So could I do like integrate a whistle camera into the app? And I think the thing that I come up with an idea was like recording your fishing trips. So to say where you went, what the weather was like, what you caught, what techniques you used, And that is the one that everyone focused on. That'd be great, that'd be great. And like one guy said to me, oh, I've got all these scraps of paper and I'm fed up of them and I get them wet and blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, this guy's telling me the sales page tips here. This is how I sell it. Forget your scraps of paper and stuff. So that was a real interesting one, that the fishing log and the ability to go back and see where you've been and what you caught, and tagging pictures. So at the minute, with the basic version, you'll be able to create all these fishing log entries. If you've taken a lot of photos, you can associate that, and the photos are then saved on the cloud so you don't lose them. And then you can just keep viewing them again and saving. Another guy said he always forgets his license, so you need a rod license or a fishing license or a membership card on certain lakes. I always forget them, so I was like, right, so you can take pictures and save your license information. Oh, look, I have got a license. Here's a picture, I've just not got it on me. So that's the basic premise of it.
Sounds good. So it's one product bringing everything together, all the different aspects of fishing.
Yeah.
And is that a paid for app, I hope?
This is the thing I've been trying to work out in lockdown. So what I've gone with ads in it. I hate ads in apps, but I've gone with ads to start with. And then what I'm trying to do is I'm going to try and maybe come up with like how-to videos. And people that fed back said, I'd love to be a forum. If we could log into a forum, I'd love to be able to a few other advanced things. So I'm trying to work out whether your basic fishing diary is free. You can log in, register for free. You get some ads. You can either pay to switch off the ads, and then you'll get all this advanced functionality as well. So that's the kind of route I'm going down. But again, going back to what I used to do in the past, I used to try and build as much as I can. So that's why sometimes the app I worked on was like 12 months in the making, because you've got all these full features and you don't know whether people are going to use them. So I've just gone the bare bones, right, what's the bare bones? Weather, fishing log, get that out, and then see where it goes from there.
Very cool. So you've released that, you've put that onto the app stores today. So hopefully that will go live this week, next week. How does it work? Come on. Yeah. Finger in the air type thing.
When I first ever did the app, so I've got a funny story about this.
Come on, keep going.
I'd read about if you release it at midnight, you might get into the top 10 for a full 24 hours. So I sat up, this old football app that we had, sat up, click go on Google Play. 30 minutes later, Google approved it. So I was like, yes, we're live on the App Store. And we had all this big, with my friends, we had all this big push on Facebook. And I was sat there, iPhone, nothing. 3 weeks later, it still hadn't been through review. A week after, I went to Vietnam with my wife. And so the Android app had been out about 6 weeks. And I was checking my phone every morning, reception. We're doing a big tour from the north of Vietnam to the south. And I just check, nothing. All of a sudden I got this, your app's been approved, click here to submit. So I'm kind of like running around this reception, like sliding around like the mask or something, going, where's your internet? It's over there. I'm like, how much does it cost? It's free. I'm like, thanks. I'm like zoomed off. And my wife's like, what are you doing? We've got to get in the coach. Like trying to log in and click submit and then WhatsApp a mate. It's right, it's live, go. So I kind of don't do that until it's live on the stores yet.
I have no idea how long the process takes, but I can't imagine it being the most friendly, shall we say.
No.
So what's next?
Apple's about a day or two turnaround at the minute. Google Play are actually telling me they're experiencing a lot more delays in their actual approval process.
Okay.
So who knows?
So last couple of questions. What's next for either you or the business? I can't wait for you to get these other 349 users and you can go full time.
I think that's it. That's what I want. That's the goal for it. And I think as well, it's a bit of a strange one because there is a lot of stuff I could do with like the Outflash app. I could improve it. I could change the UI and things like that. But that's after I get to where I want with it. So I think the next thing would just be my freedom and then making it the best I can for the customers. That's the way I want to go with it, and then try and scale it.
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting to pick up on one of the points you made earlier. A fully formed product. Is it possible to have a fully formed product from a developer's point of view?
No.
That would be my problem as well. You're always trying to make it better and more, refined and slicker and bigger and better. Surely there's never going to be an end point.
No, and I think the worst thing is that developers have as well as a trait is you can put something together. So what you try and do for me in my 9 to 5, you're trying to be as professional as you can. So you try and make code maintainable. So if someone else picks it up, they know what it's doing, blah, 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 blah. When you're on your side projects, it does go out the window, because for me, I just want to get something out. So you can always then go down that route. You're building a side project. Oh, this isn't professionally maintainable code, even though it's just your little side thing. So you could just spend hours doing that, and doing that. So there is it can be never ending. It can be never ending. But there's a thing called, have you heard of an MVP?
No, go on.
So in NFL, that's most valuable player, but in software development, it's minimum viable product.
Oh, yes.
So like Baitcamp, sorry, that's the name I've called it, Baitcamp. So the fishing app, the minimum viable product is weather, fishing diary entry, your profile and your licenses, and I've gone with that. So you just got to make a decision on what that would be.
Cool. I've got a few fishing pals and people who follow me as well. So if you give me the details when it's out there, I'm sure I can help you get that out there.
Brilliant, yeah.
So final question, how can anyone find out any further information about you or these products you're developing? Where do people go to?
The best place would probably go to philh.co.uk, philh.co.uk, and that's basically my personal blog, but it has the links to all the products I'm working on. So like Outflash has got its own website, so you can just find that to there. I've got my own podcast, and you've got links to it on there. So that's probably the best place if you're interested in any of the ideas. But if you are interested in the add-in for Outlook, that's outflash.xyz.
Cool. I should go and investigate that, and I'll put the links into this anyway, so when it goes out there, people can have a look. That's wicked. All right, I really appreciate your time. Thank you very much for that.
Oh no, thanks very much. Thanks for having me on.